I retired a year ago from full-time ministry from Highland Christian Church. So I'm semi-retired and going to different churches now, and so it's good to be back with you. I see familiar faces. I've been able to go to 2 women's retreats with the Kirk, and so I see a lot of you. I will probably be back next Sunday too, so I am looking forward to being with you for 2 Sundays. I've known Selena and Pat since they were young, so they're kind of a part of my family as they are yours. Pat and his sister Adrian were in my children's church class when they were 2 and 3 years old, just down the street at Central Christian Church here in Denver. And I was like 25, and they were quite energetic children. And then Selena and I worked together when she was the assistant to the Associate Regional Minister for the Christian Church here in the Central Rocky Mountain region. So she was my assistant, and we got to become good friends. And Christine Dunning and I used to work together at Highland Christian Church. So it's good to see so many folks here that are familiar. So I'm glad we could be together on this time and in these days. Let us pray. And now may the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. So what is your favorite time of day? Is it nighttime? Just as you lay down after a long, busy day and you're looking forward to falling asleep? Or is it a mealtime? You have a favorite meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I like supper because I like to eat between lunch and supper. Or is it the afternoon when the sun can be shining bright and there's lots of activities going on? I like all those times of day and the variety that they hold. But currently, my favorite time of day is dawn. Especially now because we have moved to the mountains in Granby, not far from where Betsy's cabin is. And the dawn is where I love to wake up and see the beautiful colors. They're orange and gold and pink, and they burst over the snowy peaks. Sometimes we're sitting in fog in the middle of a cloud, and it's just beautiful. But besides the beauty and the stillness the dawn brings, before our days get started and crazy busy, I love the dawn because it is a fresh canvas. It's a fresh start to a new day, new possibilities. It is a moment of stillness and reflection on what will this day hold. What will the light shine upon to give us new hope, even if the night was difficult or troubling, or if we felt waves of hopelessness. Life includes dawn and dusk, sunrise and sunset, and day and night. And as described in Ecclesiastes, which Anne read for us, life is a journey with various times and experiences. It is not all easy, nor is it all difficult. It is not all up or all down. It is not always happy, nor always sad, but it is full of all these experiences that make up the dance that we live. So there will be times, as described in this Old Testament text, that includes dying, breaking down, weeping, mourning, throwing away, losing, even hating, and war. Yes, there are times when life gets so overwhelming, we struggle to believe that the light will ever shine again. Times such as yesterday, when Selena and Pat's brother-in-law, Ellie, Gwen, and Willow's uncle died of cancer at such a young age. And we mourn Mike with them, and we hold them and his wife Adrian and their little girls in our prayers. Or when other brokenness occurs in our lives, a divorce, family separations, loss of a job, a community that has unrest within it. Or when we struggle with financial decisions and we don't know if we will be able to pay the bills when we wake up in the morning. Or times when one of our loved ones or ourselves are diagnosed with a difficult diagnosis or terminal illness. And we know that it will change our lives forever. So when life brings us these challenges and many others, how do we keep moving in and through to the light? The light as described in today's gospel from the book of John. The light that comes into the world to overcome the darkness. The light that gives us life. Life to all people. In other words, the light that can break through the night and through the hopelessness when we live and share our God-given light with and to one another. So that when we come into community and are there for each other, such as the church community, we can help bring those other gifts of life, experience, as mentioned in Ecclesiastes. We can experience birth and new life, planting and harvesting, healing and building and laughing and dancing, gathering and embracing, seeking and keeping, silence and speaking, loving and peacekeeping. Which we can do if we help each other up, see each other through, help others learn the dance steps, share what we have and hold each other tight when the world seems to be breaking apart all around us. Dancing has a way of taking our cares away, even if we aren't very good at it. It doesn't matter if it's the electric slide, or the Macarena, or the twist, or maybe your own crazy moves. It is good for the soul and for the spirit. And psychology today says it's good exercise, it improves mental abilities, it's a stress reliever, it's a good form of discipline, it's a creative outlet, and it's fun, and it builds community, even if it's a dance of simply snapping or clapping or bobbing your head a little bit. Last year, we had a square dance at a bluegrass camp that I attend every year. And it was the most fun I'd had in a long time. We all laughed so hard at our silly dancing that we doubled over. We also, during that dance, met people who we had never met before. For me, because I'm a stand-up bass player, I'm usually hanging out with all the other upright bass players in our classes. But at that dance, I got to interact with fiddle players and dobro players and even a few songwriters. But even with all these great benefits, a lot of people will say that they do not know how to dance. Well, that is when you take a lesson. That is when we learn from one another. I remember taking disco dancing in the 80s so I could learn to dance with a certain guy. Dance is a gift needed for all the seasons of life. As it is written in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 3, dancing is paired with mourning, for we must do both. Because there is death, we must mourn. And there are also those life moments that we must celebrate together. Faith and joy are a part of all our seasons. And as we come together in them all, we will be building community and becoming the dancing spirit of Christ's light sent by God. I graduated from seminary and was ordained in Oklahoma, First Christian Church, Ponca City. I was also ordained less than a month after the Oklahoma City bombing. Our seminary was an hour north in Enid. So our staff and the students of Phillips Theological Seminary volunteered to be down at the site. We were there to notify families of their loss. We were there to provide pastoral care and other help as needed at the Gathering Center at First Christian Church, Oklahoma City. It was the darkest, most sorrowful time in Oklahoma history. as well as the rest of our country at that time. And we were all so in shock and immersed in our sorrow and sadness that everyone in the state agreed to drive around with our headlights on our cars 24/7 in honor and in memory of those lost and those still searching for the lost until the very last person was found and laid to rest. First Christian Church, Oklahoma City, became the command center for caring for all who had lost loved ones on that terrible day. The church took its role seriously, dancing in God's spirit of light by providing shelter, a home away from home, cots and bedding, food 24/7, rooms for consoling and having space for grieving families, having volunteers sitting with people and helping them with anything that they might need as they waited to hear what had happened to their mom or dad, wife or husband, son or daughter, sibling, partner, grandparent, friend, or co-worker. In those 2 weeks, they created a tight-knit community. It became the community that God asks us to create in the midst of the most tragic days of life. My friend Mona, who worked for the Oklahoma Department of Health and was coordinating the center, asked me to take on a special project during one of those days. She had 3 teenagers sitting in the center without supervision because they were waiting the terrible confirmation that both their parents had died in the Murrow building. She asked me to take them out for the day. So I took Miguel and Sarah and Joseph to the movies and to the zoo and out to eat. The next day, Mona called and said they wanted me to take them out again. So when I picked them up from the church and asked them where they wanted to go, they said to the dance studio that their parents had owned and had run for many years. We went there, we sat on the floor, and they cried, and they moaned, and they wailed. It looked to me as if I was witnessing a sacred dance of lament. They asked if I would read them words from their very religious father's Bible that was sitting on the desk in his little office in the back. I turned to Ecclesiastes 3 and then read the words of birth and death, killing and healing, war and peace, seeking and losing, building up and tearing down, weeping and laughing, mourning and dancing. We sat in the quiet until it grew quite dark. And Miguel broke our silence by saying, "I doubt it will ever get light again." I remember days later when it was confirmed that both their parents had died in the Murrow building. And Sarah asked me, when will I ever feel light enough to dance again? In other words, when will I ever feel like living again? In the dawn, in the light, in the possibility once more. The season for Sarah to return to dance came at her prom 1 year later. She didn't take a typical date to her prom, but she was accompanied by her 2 brothers, who swung her high in the air as she turned her weeping into laughter, her night into day. She said she had to continue to live and to fly and to dance in the light to honor her parents' message of faith and joy. She became a dance major at OU and now runs her parents' dance studio in Norman. She knew the light once more, for it was shared with her so generously at First Christian Oklahoma City by the many volunteers, by her dear brothers, by her school, by her aunt and uncle who created a new home for her and her brothers. They knew the light again because of others who danced into their lives in the Spirit of God and shared their own light with them when theirs just couldn't shine. Who needs you to share your light with them at this time in their life? I end today with a calling of living as God's light with the words from a song that was originally a Christmas poem written by Howard Thurman and then put to music by Jim Straffy. It's I Am the Light of the World. Hear its call for sharing your light in the world where you are called to share it. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the Magi and the shepherds have found their way home, the work of Christmas is begun. To find the lost and lonely ones, to heal the broken souls with love, to feed the hungry children with warmth and good food, to feel the earth below, the sky above. To free the prisoners from all chains, to make the powerful care, to rebuild the nations with strength and goodwill, to see God's children everywhere, to bring hope to every task you do, to dance at a baby's new birth, to make music in an old person's heart, and sing to the colors of the world. I am the light of the world. You people come and follow me. If you follow and love, you'll learn the mystery of what you were meant to do and be. Let us live the light and let us dance in the light. Amen.